All right, this one is one of the coverage tip of the day where we're going to start talking about. Most of you have heard about, probably almost all of you have heard about employment practices liability insurance. And that is where in the workplace is where interactions with the employees is, wrongful termination, age discrimination, racial discrimination, sexual harassment, all those are within the workplace. You've all heard about that, but there is also a coverage endorsement onto the policy where we're going to start talking about real quick and briefly. I'll want to check your policies and make sure you have this because these have been coming up a lot more lately, is third-party employment practices liability insurance. And that is where outside of the organization these claims arise. So whether it's interactions of employees, customers, clients, vendors, contractors, members of the public, where it happens. A lot of people, oh, they're outside of it. Well, if it's in a professional setting, whether you're interacting with customers, you're interacting with the vendors, you're interacting with the general public, maybe you're at a networking event, it's still considered a work environment. And let's say you get into it, even if it's not an actual situation that occurred, but you get accused of it, an attorney gets involved, there is going to be legal fees that can reach the tens, even hundreds of thousands of dollars, even if you are not at all responsible for doing what occurred, and that never occurred. You still got accused of it, you're getting sued of it, and you got to get yourself out of it. Or the company has to get out of it because all your employees are representatives of your organization. So when they're out in the public and something like this occurs and you get accused of it, because now it comes back to the company, they're going to get accused of it, you're going to get accused of it. Well, without this coverage, you have no coverage for third-party claims. There might be, some people think maybe under the general liability, there's some, maybe under my standard employment practices liability, maybe my directors and officers. Well, that's a stretch. That's a stretch. Could there be some? Maybe in a very minute way, but not the coverage you really need. So, like I said, you're interacting, and let's say I'm going to give a couple examples. And this is one, did not occur with anyone I know, but I read all these trade magazines about situations and claim situations, claim scenarios where there was a networking event. And salespeople were at the networking event. There were people from different industries, and there was guys, and there was women, and there were, they were interacting. There was drinking going on, but it was still a professional setting because it was a networking event. Well, one of the guys was hitting on one of the women, and she didn't like it, but there was alcohol involved, so it got a little more aggressive, where there was a little bit of touching, and so she said stop. He didn't stop. There were witnesses that saw this occur. So next thing you know, her brother's an attorney, files a claim against the company, against the individual, and against the company. Now you have to, you're going to have to defend yourself in this situation. And they look back at, and this is a couple of things, they'll look back at, have you done training on, and it's hard to comprehend it. You have to have training for adults that when you're in a networking event, control the drinking, control the behavior, control the interactions with other individuals, and it doesn't have to be the sexual harassment. It doesn't have to be, anything like it. Could be also you make a comment about minorities, you make a comment about women, women make a comment about guys, and it's taken the wrong way. Or you're making a joke, and you're just, you sit around, you're drinking, you're joking, you're laughing, and it's just a joke that you thought was funny. Well, a lot of other people didn't think it was funny. Next thing you know, you're getting dragged in, the company's getting dragged in, and it just turns into an awful situation. Like I said, just the cost of defense alone. And then they say, oh, you didn't train your employees to basically, and it's hard to say about adults, you didn't train your employees to behave in a public space. Guess what? You are now liable, and that is going to cost you not just your cost of defense, but you know what? We're going to fine for that individual. We're going to fine for the plaintiff $100,000. So be careful, read your policies, your employment practices liability policy. Make sure you have third-party employment practices liability. It's become a big deal, especially now. You have a lot of fallout, not just from that, but it also reputation of the company. that gets out in the public that this occurs, oh, be careful, you're going to have XYZ companies, employees at your event, be careful. If they start drinking, they all start interacting inappropriate with the others. So you just really don't want that. But to protect you as well, just in case it does occur, you as a business owner, HR, anywhere in that, look at your policy. If you need help looking at it, contact me, message me, let me know, send me your policy. I mean, I love doing this, helping people. It's about, I just love helping people. And I mean, I have people who are not even clients of mine who will reach out and they go, hey, Tom, I have this situation come up. What do you think? You know what? I'll give you my honest opinion on it. I'll even do some research for you and just say, hey, look, this is what I think is going to occur. This is what I think you should have done. This is what I think you could do. So let me know. You need help, not just in this, but anything with the insurance. Just let me know. I'm here to help.